All right, so I'm gonna try to do this in one take. It's not gonna be edited, so if I make some flubs, you'll know why. Um, I'm just noticing something, and it may be just me on the outside looking in, being a consumer in the bike industry. The model's broken. And let me preface all this by saying I've never owned a bike shop. I've been in service oriented business, and I sell my services, not a product. So forgive me if I've missed on some things, but this is just me on the outside looking in, and the thoughts that I've had over a period of time. I do have friends that own bike shops, and we've spoken many times about how the business is set up. And I think there's a change that needs to happen within the industry, because I think the industry is going down. And it's not because the bikes are too expensive, although bikes are expensive. You know what you're getting into. One of the things that I'm seeing is that the sales rep comes into a shop and they set the shop up to buy a certain amount of inventory that the shop has to buy at that point, and ties up a bunch of capital. Problem there is the bike shop is only going off of what the sales rep's saying. They're not really going off of what they think they make and sell. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But this is just me thinking out loud. So bear with me. A lot of times the shops are in certain niches, and they are just kind of out looking at how the industry's doing, or what people are talking about, what people want. And so they're looking at their sales rep to kind of give them that line of what's the feel in the industry right now. Is it short travel XC bikes? Is it short travel down country bikes? Is it long travel trail bikes? Is it gravel bikes? Is it road bikes? All that's dependent a lot on where you are. But obviously, like I said, if the shop owner rides a lot of road bikes, they may not know as much about what's going on in the mountain bike industry. But all that aside, they still have to tie up a load of capital in the bike purchase. And it's not like they can come in and say, well, hey, man, just give me 2 of them. No, they've got a certain number figure that they've got to come up to. And so they go in and they buy X amount. Say it's 10 bikes. And out of those 10, there might be 1 or 2 in there that are finger on the pulse type of mountain bikes. A short travel cross country bike that's getting rave reviews on YouTube. That's another point that I'll get to. Rave reviews on YouTube. Embargo drops. Everybody sees it. Now all the people that are into the sport, hard and heavy, want the bike. There's a problem there. The other thing is coming out with new models too often. And I understand there's a competition between the manufacturers to come out with the better mousetrap, build a better bike, come out with the bike first, lead the way, let others kind of filter in to do that. That's in every business. Archery's the same way. I've been in archery for a while too. It's the same way. Somebody comes out with a new bow every year with a new bell and a new whistle, and it's like the last year was obsolete. The bike industry, to me, could hold on to a model over a longer period of time, which would give a shop a longer period of time to sell the inventory that they do have. That's one thing. And I don't know, like I said, manufacturing wise, that may not work out. I don't really know. But I do know that there are companies out there that do this. They don't change a model every year. They don't come out with a new model every year. They have a model. They may come out with a new color, which is nice, but the model it holds on for a couple of years until they come out with another one. Okay. Here's my thoughts on outside looking in. If I had a bike company, this is the way I would think about setting up my business. You have a manufacturing facility. 9 out of 10, it's an Asian facility. You're in there with multiple other brands. We all know this. It's not a secret anymore that very few companies make their own bikes. That's not a big deal. But you should know, last year, looking at my numbers, I sold 2-to-1 a 120 cross country, down country bike to every other bike I've got in my lineup. And that's been every year for the past 4 years. I should be able to project that I'm going to sell more 120 XC race type down country bikes, which is the vast majority of people that ride. That's the kind of bike that we ride and we want and we need. We don't need anything bigger. We might want something bigger, but we don't need anything bigger. I should know that as a company. As a multi-million-dollar company, I should be able to project what's going to happen, what's going to come out. So let's set up the manufacturing to make a certain number of those bikes. But instead of bringing those in and then going to the sales reps and say, okay, sales reps, now you go to your dealers and your bike shop owners and you get them to buy $30,000 worth of these bikes. Wouldn't be hard to do these days, but let's just say $30,000. $30,000 of these bikes, get them to sit on it and let them sit on that $30,000 to where they can't use that $30,000 for anything else in the shop. Instead of doing that, I would have distribution centers set up throughout the United States, throughout Europe, wherever you're going to sell these bikes, and most of them are worldwide, but let's just do United States. I would have distribution centers set up in the United States, and all of my inventory comes to the distribution centers. And it could be evenly spaced out for just the sake of argument right now. Let's say every distribution center gets the same number of bikes in the same colors, in the same sizes. Nothing changes. Now I go to my rep and I say, I need you to sell each one of my bike shops a demo fleet. And the bike shop buys the demo fleet. But me as a company, I have to guarantee this shop owner that I can drop ship a bike to them within 3 days of any order. What this allows me to do as a bike shop is I don't have to tie up all my capital in bikes that I may not be able to sell. I buy the bikes that I feel like my market wants. So let's say I live in an area, let's say I left on the West Coast and I'm in an area like Bellingham or a place like we all know, a big travel bike is the way to go. Not to say you can't ride something else, but most of the people ride big travel bikes. So I'm, as a shop out there, going to stock a demo fleet of bikes that sells there. I'm not going to buy gravel bikes. I'm not going to buy kids bikes. I'm not going to buy short travel cross country bikes. I'm going to buy the bikes that sell there. And I'm going to have enough of a fleet to where someone can come in, they can demo the bike in their size. It doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be the high spec. It just needs to be a bike that they can get on and they can see what this bike feels like. They pay for this. $100 a day, $150 a day, whatever you want to come up with. That money goes back to the purchase of the bike. But the caveat to all of this is that the distribution center has got to have the bike, which the bike shop should be able to go in, pull up a list, and figure out exactly where that bike is that this person wants. So they come in and say, okay, I want this bike. I've ridden it for a day, ridden it for 2 days. I want this bike, but I want it with this build, and I want it in this color, whatever the color is available. You know, I can't just custom order. Let's just say the red, white, or blue. I want the white one. I want SRAM top of the line, and I want Fox top of the line, or whatever. Let's just argument's sake again. And then that bike shop looks and says, hey, there's 3 of them in the distribution center. I can have it here by the end of the week. 3 days. Drop ship it, bring it here. I'll have it built up for the weekend. Purchaser says, that works for me. Here's my money. Bike shop puts the fleet bike back in circulation after looking it over, make sure everything's okay, puts it back into rotation again. This allows this bike shop to cater to the person without putting themselves in a situation where, classic example right now, let's just say you've owned a shop, you've been sitting on models for the year because they're not selling that well, and now the main manufacturer puts those products on sale at a price lower than what you actually paid for them. Or they put it on eBay and they're selling on eBay because they now have to sell a bunch of them because they over projected. I know this is a rant to a point, and I don't know how it affects me more than I don't know. I just look at it as a change in the dynamic of way things are done. And I'm not saying this needs to be done like a dealership where everything's floor planned, because I understand there's some changes there that would need to be made that don't apply or can't apply to a bike shop. But just having the demo fleet, I can personally say that a demo program is the best way to buy and sell a bike, because you allow the person to test the bike out without having to put all the money down on the bike to buy the bike and then end up going, man, I don't like it. Now I got to try to sell it, and it's not going to go well. I'm not going to get my money back because now the bike company is actually selling the bike for less than what I paid for it. I understand that happens in every situation, but it could be less of a situation if some things were changed to allow a more, don't know the word I'm looking for. It's not nuance, but just a better way to purchase a bike. Now I may be completely off base. There may be some financial things around, that can change that, and it just doesn't even make sense to do this. Maybe that's me. Maybe I don't know. I do know that we've recently reached out to try to do a spring festival, outdoor festival at my local state park. And I've reached out to some of these companies to see if we could get demos. And the companies that I've reached out to, I have got correspondence back, and some of them are like, well, we can't send a demo fleet out there. We can't do a demo program because the industry's in a bad spot right now. And I almost want to think to myself, like, now is the perfect time to do this. Now is the perfect time to have your demo. Now is the perfect time to send a demo somewhere. If you've got a situation where you can put more people in front of the bike and let them ride the bike without having to put a lot of money down, this is the perfect time to do that. Build awareness of your brand, maybe even sell that bike. You don't even know, but to just basically completely negate half of the United States because you just don't feel it's worth it. That's just, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. Or at the least, if you're a salesperson, not being able to do it shouldn't be your first answer. It should be, I can't do that, but. And the but should be, I'll mail you out one. I'll mail you out one to have at this event. If it's just the one that's just on display, just for, certain people that want to try it can ride it, then fine, do that. But don't just back up and go, I'm sorry, I can't even look at your side of the United States because we're not going to focus on that side right now. I'm saying all this because I hate to see the way the industry's going. Bikes are crazy expensive. It is wild, and the arguments out there of like, God, I could buy a motorcycle for what I could buy one of these bikes for. That's true, but I don't ride motorcycles anymore. I like riding my bike, and I know others probably feel the same way. I just feel like there's a better way to do this. I don't think it's direct to consumer either. I still think you need the tie to a good shop that can work on the bikes, that can actually answer questions, can set the bikes up, can create a community, have the trail systems, can work on the trail systems to keep those areas to where these people can ride these bikes. I just feel like that part is missing. Direct to consumer doesn't help any of that. To me personally, I don't think so. Anyhow, like I said, man, that's just a thought for today. I felt like I wanted to do one because it's been on my mind. I've been thinking about this for a while, and like I said, I could be off base completely. And if you feel that way, in the comments, just say, hey man, I'm in the industry, this is how it works, and this is why this won't work. I'm up for that. I'm up for the discussion. I would like to know if my idea makes any sense, or if my idea makes no sense because of XYZ. Lay it out there. I'm not opposed to a different thought process, a different argument, and I may change my mind after that. I may just look at it and go, man, you're right. Things are the way they are, and that's how they're going to be. I do know in the past, one company with a local bike shop used to do consignment with their bikes. So the industry's changed in that aspect, because now he doesn't do that. He won't do that. He doesn't even carry this manufacturer anymore. But at the time, this manufacturer did that at that bike shop, and I'm assuming that he wasn't some random person, because we're not a big area where I'm at. But anyhow, like I said, comment below. Let me know, what do you think, and let's keep this discussion going. Let's push our industry, man. I don't want to see it go anywhere. I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I'm trying to get out there, and I'm trying to give back, and I hope everybody else does too. The older you get, the less time you have to do it. So let's do it now.